every single member of Congress, every single political activist, every single group in the country that has ever called Republicans and conservatives fascists needs to condemn this violence. And I'm hoping that he'll make it through. I have no idea the status of him other than we are being told that his family and Turning Point are asking for people to pray for him and asking for a miracle, which is not good.
What does he mean for the conservative movement?
Well, it's not like the conservative movement is going to go away because of this, but if you don't think that this is going to make people infuriated for good reason, I mean, look at what just happened a couple days ago. Look at the rhetoric taking place around this. The president was literally shot over this. I've been saying this time and time again. You cannot call people Nazis, fascists, and expect this type of stuff to not happen. You cannot be in the press and tell people that they're losing their rights and all of this will go to hell in the handbasket because Donald Trump and Republicans have the House majority. It's just not true. But more importantly, Charlie Kirk is a dad. He has 2 young kids. He has a daughter and a son. He is a son himself. He's my friend. He's part of the reason why I'm in office right now. And it's awful that it's taking this type of stuff to happen very publicly for people to realize what they're doing is wrong.
What is your message to your fellow Democrats in Congress?
Stop with the rhetoric. You're getting people killed. You're going to get one of us killed too while you continue doing it. And frankly, I do appreciate that at least Jared Moskowitz has put out a statement condemning this because it cannot continue happening.
This is an unfortunate reality. Obviously, we saw last year the assassination attempt against the president. We saw 2 Minnesota state lawmakers murdered at their homes. I think security is something that everyone should be taking seriously. And you know, I mean, you do a lot of public events, and yeah, it's something that I certainly think about as I'm going out in my community or even down here.
What additional steps need to be taken for members' security beyond the lake?
I've been saying for the entire time that I've been here that this needs to be taken way more seriously, that more resources need to be expended in district to really ensure the safety and well-being of members of Congress and elected officials broadly. Political violence is not a solution. It is not an answer to disagreement over policy.
It's horrendous. To see it up close, good God. You know, people are trying to shut down free speech making like Charlie Kirk. There's no place in this society. This is what happens in third world countries. But so sad for his family and its children.
Do you think this country has a problem with political violence?
Absolutely. You know, put the handcuffs on the police and all this. It was in a gun-free zone too, and but a guy like that meant so much to this country. To take him down, you saw what happened in Charlotte. Cashless bail. It's no excuse for it. It's time for people to take the country back. And but it's horrendous. And to see the up-close shooting and to see what happened in Charlotte, we've got to deal with it.
Wishing harm, and we got to, I think, also kind of remember that in the end we're still one country. But no, it's frightening because you know, we've been living with fear on our side just as much as their side. So thank you.
Do you have concerns about generally members' safety and the security level that y'all have here?
Here I think we're okay, but we've always been concerned about the safety of members across the board, and under, honestly, I don't like to get political, but under this administration it's always seemed a little bit more intense, the rhetoric. So I've always been concerned across the board for elected representatives from both sides of the aisle. We saw it with Gabby Giffords, you saw it with Scalise, you just see it across the board. So it's not new, but it's actually when things like this happen, I think members are completely on edge.
I know Charlie pretty well. Charlie, he's come to my district. We text and talk about policy. You know, he was ironically trying to engage, whatever you think of his views or my views, he was trying to engage in civil discourse on college campuses and invite people opposing views and just to go back and forth and have a debate. And now you have this. It's just, you know, when I was in college, you used to be able to walk in those doors and just walk right into the Capitol. You know, didn't have any of the security. Obviously, airports were the same. And the more we just have this, like, sickness in society, the more we have to clamp down, the more you have to have, you know, security barriers. And lock down our society because people are just sick. And there's obviously no place for it, but at the end of the day right now we're just praying for Charlie. I don't know, I keep getting conflicting reports, so just praying for him and his family.
So should there be changes here to your security protocol?
I don't know about all that stuff. I mean, I hate it. We should be able to have the American people come, and we ought to be able to debate and have dialogue and go to college campuses without fear of, this kind of attack. But Charlie, he's a strong guy. He's a good man. I hope, praying for him. I don't know the status. I have no idea. I keep getting conflicting reports. So praying for him and his family. He's got, a little baby, and, so just God be with them all.
It's upsetting what's happening in schools, and we all have to work together. Hate is not acceptable. I cried when I found out he died. So all of us have got to work together and de-escalate the hate and the rhetoric in this country. And remember, we're Americans, and you can disagree in a way that doesn't end in a horrible way today did.
What can change, here in this building, around the country? Because we hear lawmakers, we hear political activists say that those same things every time something like this happens.
I'm somebody who goes to the other side of the aisle and talks to everybody. I'm someone who walks her talk every single day. And I'm asking everybody, I say it every day, whenever you see hate, stand up to it and speak out, which is how I've lived my life.
What has just transpired is tremendously disturbing. It is the latest evolution and instance of political violence in the United States, and it must end.
It's the worst thing. Shocking. And everyone's really devastated. My children are devastated. Just everyone I know. It's there really aren't words.
Can you speak to his importance to the conservative movement, to your own political rise?
I really think what was great about Charlie Kirk, and I was just telling Tia this, is he would go on college campuses and tell young people to get married and have children, and just talk about how wonderful it is to be married and have children. He shared the Word of God. He was a Christian, and he shared the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he encouraged young people.
It is just literally gut-wrenching to think about this. And it shouldn't matter what your political views are. You should be able to state in America whatever you feel, but continue to try to think how we protect. But it's not just members now. This is somebody who's engaged in public discourse, but he's not an elected official. So while my primary responsibility is for members and staff, it is a much bigger question about violence in society today, and what all of us can do. What we should all own the fact that sometimes rhetoric leads people who are unstable to think that they can somehow help solve the problem or address it. And it's just awful, and we need all to speak with a single voice about how completely unacceptable it is to have political violence in America.
It's a horror what's going on, and the gun violence is out of control, and my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk's family. What a nightmare this whole thing is. And we saw it recently in Minnesota with elected officials being targeted, and it's just out of control across the country. And so
Is this, so you would say this is a gun violence issue, not a political rhetoric issue?
What is a gun violence issue?
The political assassination that we saw in Minnesota, the political assassination that we saw today in Utah with Charlie Kirk?
Well, there were also young people who were shot today in Colorado. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there were high school students who were injured by gun violence. So we have a major problem with gun violence in the country. America's in a class by itself in terms of the modern industrialized world. But we have rates of gun violence that are 10 or 20 times higher than Canada, the European Union, Mexico, or what have you. So that's something concrete that we can do to try to turn this nightmare around. Obviously, I don't want people engaged in political violence of any kind, whether it's with guns or knives or fists. The whole point of having a social contract is that we resolve our conflicts non-violently through the political process.